The concept of a culture of fear, where fear is purposefully instilled in the public to achieve certain goals in politics or the workplace, has been introduced and elaborated by sociologists like Frank Furedi and Barry Glassner. This scary phenomenon is not particular to any nation, as demonstrated by Nazi politician Hermann Göring. Göring explained how the public, though generally opposed to war, could be manipulated into supporting such conflicts by simply instilling the fear of being attacked and criticizing peacemakers for endangering the nation. In her work, State and Opposition in Military Brazil, Maria Helena Moreira Alves delves into how this terror-filled climate was enforced as a political suppression tool since 1964 in Brazil. The national security mechanisms in Brazil, she notes, equated political engagement with the risk of detention and ill treatment and set up horrifying procedures like caça-caio, which legally pronounced armed forces members dead as a means of punishment. Alves further highlighted the amendments in the National Security Law of 1969 as the starting point of establishing this fear culture in Brazil through economic exploitation, physical oppression, political control, and stringent censorship. 3 psychological factors: enforced silence, isolation, and the perception that all opposition avenues were sealed, contributed to creating a hopeless, fear-filled climate that discouraged political dissent. Former U.S. National Security Advisor Zbigniew Brzezinski also contributes to this theme, arguing that the U.S. government deliberately fueled fear culture through its use of the phrase war on terror. This phrase, he suggests, blurs rationality, inflames emotions, and facilitates manipulative politicians to rally public support for their preferred policies. Frank Furedi, a Spiked magazine writer and sociology professor, opines that this contemporary fear culture did not simply kick off after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, but existed before, influencing public panics about issues from genetically modified food and cell phones to climate change and Syria disease outbreaks. Furedi emphasizes that our perceptions of risk and safety, as well as debates over health, environment, and technology, are seldom founded on scientific or empirical evidence. Curtis's film echoes the culture of fear concept, examining how the American neoconservative movement dramatized the danger from first the Soviet Union and then radical Islamists. His film argues that since 9/11, Western societies have been gripped by an inflated fear of terrorism. Politicians like George W. Bush and Tony Blair capitalized on this widespread alarm, using it as a tool to regain their diminished power and authority. They promoted the fear of a nefarious web of evil from which only they could protect their citizens. Curtis denounces the media, security services, and the Bush administration for opportunistically extending their power in this way. The film includes Bill Durroti, then a key figure at King's College London's International Center for Security Analysis, who suggests that the network isn't so much a fabrication. Rather, it likely doesn't exist, depicting it as a projection of our worst fears and a constructed fantasy. Ashforth warns about the damaging effects of oppressive leadership styles, defining petty tyrants as leaders who employ fear to manage, fostering a tension-filled work environment. Inconsistent negative reinforcement can perpetuate this climate of fear and insecurity if workers perceive that workplace bullying is ignored. A pervasive sense of fear may develop. A number of studies have established a link between bullying, autocratic leadership styles, and authoritarian conflict resolution, all of which may contribute to a fearful workplace. Such an overbearing leadership style leaves little room for healthy dialogue and makes complaining seem a futile effort. In one study of public sector workers, about 1/5 reported contemplating leaving their job due to witnessing bullying. Rayner asserts the statistics are indicative of a fearful work climate where employees refrain from reporting due to feelings of insecurity, especially once bullies had previously evaded disciplinary action despite management's awareness of the situation. The effects of fear on an individual's sensitivity to reward, punishment, and motivation were learnt from reinforcement sensitivity theory, and also have implications in job performance. Fear-based work culture conflicts with W. Edwards Deming's key principles of management aimed at enhancing business efficiency. One of his core principles is eliminating fear, so everyone can efficiently contribute to the organization's success. The narrative underscores the role of media in intensifying the fear of terrorism and implications on national security, which ultimately induces adverse mental health outcomes like depression, anxiety, and sleep disorders within the societal fabric. Such fear perception is further exacerbated by politicians who promptly engage with the media post-terrorist atrocities or violent crimes to instill and perpetuate terror apprehensions among their followers. This concept has been studied in numerous works, such as Maria Helena Moreira Alves's The Formation of the National Security States and Ulrich Beck's Risk Society Towards a New Modernity. The latter even coined a term that translates as organized irresponsibility to encapsulate this notion. Further exploration of this topic can be found in works like David L. Allied's Creating Fear, News and the Construction of a Crisis, Hunter S. Thompson's Kingdom of Fear, and Will Soyinka's The Climate of Fear. Each of these titles underlines the cunning orchestration of fear in society by authorities. Frank Ferretti's books, Culture of Fears and Politics of Fears, delve deeper into the cynical manipulation of public trepidation to determine societal expectations and political landscapes. Other noteworthy pieces on this matter include Francis Moore Lappe and Jeffrey Perkins's You Have the Power, Steve Masick's Urban Nightmares, Yuli Link and Danielle Smith's Cultures of Fear, and Jeffrey Scull's Social Theory of Fear. Luke Hawaii's Witnesses to Terror continues this examination, as do Greg Easterbrook's It's Better Than It Looks and Laura Dodsworth's A State of Fear, which offers a recent analysis of how the UK government capitalized on fear during the COVID-19 pandemic to exercise control.